you think you can predict the beats, the betrayals, and the alliances. But the moment I realized what was actually happening between August 17th and the 28th, I knew something was horribly, terribly wrong in Port Charles. We are not just looking at standard rivalries anymore. We are looking at a powder keg, and someone just lit the match. That changed everything for me. I genuinely wasn't expecting that level of psychological warfare, especially right out of the gate. Let us start with the absolute nightmare that is Pentonville right now. I keep thinking about Curtis Ashford. He finally made the impossible choice to take that plea deal for a short stint behind bars. He took the fall to avoid a massive sentence for the assault on Isaiah Gannon, hoping to just keep his head down, do his time, and get back to Portia and his newborn son. He just said a heartbreaking goodbye to Jordan, ready to face his punishment. And what does the universe give him? Jen Sidwell as a cellmate. Are you kidding me? The sheer panic I felt seeing those two locked in a concrete box together was indescribable. The claustrophobia of that cell, the metallic clang of the door shutting them in together, it is pure nightmare fuel. Why did this hit so hard? Because we know Curtis, we know his history, his desperation to protect his family, and his deep-seated need to be a good man after all the mistakes he has made. Sidwell isn't just a physical threat, he is a master manipulator. Instead of just treating Sidwell as a standard prison threat, the writers are doing something far more cynical. Sidwell is testing Curtis. If Sidwell proposes an escape plan and demands Curtis's help to break out of Pentonville, Curtis is trapped in an impossible snare. If he helps the fugitive escape, he loses his parole, his freedom, and any chance of watching his baby boy grow up. If he refuses, Sidwell could end his life before the guards even blink. It is a terrifying trap, and watching Curtis navigate this tightrope is giving me ulcer-level anxiety. But as much as I am stressing over Curtis fighting for his life in a cell, there is a completely different shadow creeping over Port Charles, and his name is Hudson. Guys, I have to admit, I completely misread this guy at first. I thought he was just another corporate suit brought in to facilitate this Jasper Jacks Enterprises CEO drama. Carly Spencer has been pushing Hudson so hard to convince Jocelyn to take the CEO chair to get her away from the WSB. Carly is so blinded by her desperation to save her daughter from the spy life that she didn't see the wolf at the door. But the moment I saw Hudson's real focus, my jaw dropped. He doesn't care about Jocelyn Jacks or the CEO. He is hunting for Delilah Wilson's child. He is tracking Harrison Chase. The realization that Hudson is actually looking for baby Phoebe, it sent absolute shivers down my spine. Ava Jerome is going to figure this out, and when she does, the panic is going to be. Ava already knows Ethan Lovett lied about being the father. If Hudson is the real biological father, Phoebe is in unimaginable danger. This makes Hudson infinitely more terrifying than any corporate raider. He is using the corporate drama as a smokescreen to hunt down a child, and Chase is walking around completely oblivious to the target on his back. And speaking of the CEO drama, I can't believe someone finally said that. Jocelyn pulling the ultimate power move and rejecting the CEO position to hand it over to Jordan Ashford. I was screaming at my television. I love this storyline so much. Jocelyn completely blindsided Carly and Hudson. By putting Jordan, a former police commissioner with impeccable integrity, in charge, Jocelyn didn't just secure her father's company, she actively destroyed Hudson's corporate leverage. She might have unknowingly derailed his entire master plan, and I am absolutely here for it. Jocelyn is proving that her WSB training translates perfectly into corporate ruthlessness. Now, I have to talk about the teen scene, because I love and hate what is happening here. I love seeing Rocco Falconeri and Scout Quartermain getting closer. They are both kids dealing with incredibly messy, traumatic family legacy. Rocco is carrying the immense guilt of shooting Ross Cullum and letting Jason Morgan take the fall. He needs an anchor, and Scout is providing that for him. They need each other's support. But something still bothers me, and that is Drew King. The moment Drew caught them hanging out and completely overreacted, I was furious. I understand why a father wants to protect his teenage daughter, but I still think that was a massive mistake on Drew's part. He didn't just act like a concerned dad. He acted like an unhinged control freak. He wants to ban Rocco from seeing Scout completely. Maybe I'm being unfair, but Drew's reaction felt so disproportionate that it immediately made me question his true motive. What is Drew hiding? Why is he so terrified of Rocco being around? It makes him look incredibly guilty of something much darker. If Drew pushes too hard, he is going to make everyone around him start digging into his secret. And speaking of Drew's dark side, we cannot ignore the absolute psychological warfare happening between him and Nina Reeves. Drew offering Nina an olive branch and a peace treaty. Please. I wasn't ready for that level of gaslighting. Nina literally pushed this man into a lake recently when he was in a wheelchair. There is no way Drew is just letting that go. He is walking, he is talking, and he is plotting. This is a trap, plain and simple. The tension in the room when he offered her that piece was thick enough to cut with a knife. This is where I am so torn, guys. Part of me wants to believe that Nina can outsmart him. I want her to play him like a fiddle, call his bluff, and crush it. But another part of me thinks she is walking right into a slaughter. I honestly can't decide if Nina is being brilliant or utterly foolish by engaging with him in this mind game. If you ask me, Nina needs to run in the opposite direction, because Drew is setting up a chessboard where he controls all the pieces and he is just waiting for her to make the wrong move. Let's pivot to something that broke my heart a little bit. Jason Morgan and Britt Westbourne. Jason finally telling Britt that he wants to leave the criminal underworld, that he wants out of Sonny Corinthos' mob for good. It was such a powerful, quiet moment. Britt asking him about his future, looking at him with that mixture of desperate hope and deeply ingrained skepticism. It hit hard because of their history. Britt just found out her Huntington's disease diagnosis was a fake trick by Cullum and Sidwell. She has a future now, and she wants to know if Jason's going to be in it. But guys, I have to be brutally honest. I love Jason's growth, and I love that his time in WSB captivity made him realize Danny has to be his priority. But I don't buy it. Can Jason actually leave? With everything collapsing around Sonny Corinthos, I just feel like Jason's going to get pulled right back in. He can say he wants to step away, but loyalty to Sonny is a disease Jason has never been able to cure. It frustrates me to no end because Britt deserves a straight answer, and I don't think Jason can give her one. He is going to break her heart all over again, and I am already bracing myself for the tears. And while we are on the topic of toxic emotional attachments, let's talk about Rick Lansing. Seeing Rick spiral into jealousy over Elizabeth Baldwin and Dante Falconeri's growing bond is like watching a car crash in slow motion. Dante and Liz are so stable right now. They are communicating, they are supporting each other through the Lulu drama, and Rick just cannot handle it. I genuinely fear what Rick is going to do next. His emotions are completely clouding his judgment, and an impulsive Rick Lansing is a dangerous Rick Lansing. He is going to start a war he cannot win, and he is going to drag Elizabeth right into the crossfire. We also have these slow burn mysteries that are making me crazy. Kai Taylor realizing that Trina Robinson's stalker might actually be targeting him. The paranoia is so real. Kai is looking over his shoulder, realizing that the danger Trina faced might have been aimed at him all along. If Kai figures out the truth before Trina does, he could be the key to blowing this whole stalker mystery wide open. And then there is Anna Devane casually introducing Jocelyn to the new doctor, Tristan Roberts. It seems so harmless, just a friendly introduction at the hospital. But this is Port Charles. Nothing is harmless. I am keeping my eyes glued to Tristan because anyone who gets close to the PCPD chief and a WSB agent definitely has skeletons in their closet. But guys, we have to talk about the Quartermain Gatehouse. I genuinely wasn't expecting that level of absolute violence. Willow Kane moving into the gatehouse was always going to trigger Brooklyn Quarter. Brooklyn is already a commander going in guilt and paranoia over framing Willow for Jordan's hit and run, knowing she herself is the actual culprit. Having Willow living mere steps away was a recipe for disaster. Brooklyn tried to play the corporate game, tried to get Tracy to evict Willow, and she failed miserably. Tracy wouldn't budge. And when words failed, the claws came out. I am still in absolute shock over that physical brawl. Brooklyn and Willow literally tearing each other apart at the gate. I am talking about scratching, pulling hair, shattering decor, and drawing blood. It was visceral, it was ugly, and it was entirely inevitable. All the pent-up rage, the lies, the framing, the Nell Benson comparisons, it all exploded into physical violence. By the time Michael Corinthos walked in to stop it, it was too late. They were both battered, bleeding, and breathing heavily amidst the broken glass. It just shows how deeply toxic this entire family dynamic has become. Michael standing there, horrified by the women in his life destroying each other, was a cinematic masterpiece of tragedy. I am exhausted just thinking about all of this. Between Curtis fighting for his life and his soul in a concrete cell with Sidwell, Drew's terrifying control issues regarding Rocco, and the literal blood on the floor of the Quartermain gatehouse, I don't know how much more my nerves can take. But the one thing I keep coming back to, the one thread that terrifies me the most, is Hudson and baby Phoebe. If he is really her father, and if he is using this entire corporate buyout just to get close to Chase and steal that baby, this is just the tip of a massive, horrifying iceberg. Am I the only one feeling this way? Guys, what do you think? Am I overthinking Hudson's motives? Or is Phoebe really the key to this entire summer of chaos? Do you think Curtis is going to break out of Pentonville with Sidwell? Or will he find a way to turn the table? And please tell me I am not the only one who thinks Jason is lying to himself about leaving the mom. Let me know down in the comments, because I am losing my mind over here and I need to know I am not crazy.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.